Good morning, everyone. This is Leah Dixon in Port Coquitlam coming in to make another paper pumpkin alternative card. Sorry for getting on a little bit late. I was having the most lovely Zoom yoga class this morning and it went right till 10 o'clock. So, hopefully you saw my message with the supplies that you'd need if you wanted to stamp along with me. So you can see I've got my 3 inks here. I've got the cardstock I mentioned, and then I realized I forgot to mention that you're also going to want your envelopes. We're going to be actually using the inside of one of our envelopes today as some DSP. All the cards that originally came with the kit, I just made them as is, and I actually wanted to send them out with some like stickers and stuff like that, so I put them into larger envelopes, and so I have all of our fancy ones left over. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move some of this stuff out of the way, and we're going to get started by chopping up the inside of our envelope. So to do that, I'm just going to begin by like peeling it apart and grabbing my little paper trimmer. I'm going to keep the one side turned in so that I've got a straight edge to put up at the top of my trimmer. And I'm going to trim this just so that I take away the extra flap. Good morning, Janice. I had such a nice yoga session this morning. Bryony did a Zoom yoga class, so I'm not missing out on my weekly yoga with her, being that we're not in school. It's so lovely. All right, so now with this, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to trim this. I'm not too concerned about size. I'm actually just trying to trim it so that the inside of my envelope with the yellow, or whichever, if you're using the pink or the green, that's your choice, just so that I've just trimmed it up so I don't have any folds or adhesive or anything on the edges. So I can get rid of these extra little bits. I am going to save this flap. Actually, I might as well just trim it up right now. I'm going to come in, trim away the rest of the, actually, I'm going to trim up the side first so I have a straight edge. I'm going to come in and trim away so that none of the adhesive remains. And now I'm going to have this other little piece in here. I'm just going to take away the little bit of a fold. So it looks like we're coming in at about 1 1/4 inches is going to be the total width of that. So now I've just got this extra little bit that I can add back into my kit, and then I've got a little piece of DSP to use up at another time on a different card. All right, so that's what we're doing to our envelope to get this gorgeous DSP. Then I've got just a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock folded into a regular card base, and I'm going to glue this DSP onto my card. Always really enjoy just using the liquid glue. Good morning, Val. So if you're just joining us, all I've done here is I've trimmed up one of those fancy envelopes that came in our March paper pumpkin, so that the inside of that envelope is now a piece of DSP for me to stick to the front of my card. I didn't worry too much about exact sizing, just that I had trimmed off all the folds and any adhesive parts. All right, so now that we've got that done, there's my card base ready to go for us. I'm going to set that off to the side, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So I've got this piece of Whisper White that I mentioned to you guys that is 2.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to grab my rubber boots and some basic gray. So I'm going to ink those up and stamp them quite low and centered on my piece of Whisper White cardstock. Okay, so I want them quite low to the bottom. And now I can put that away. Well, for now, I'm going to use that for my sentiment afterwards. And let's see. I know I've got a chamois here somewhere. I'm going to just clean up those boots and take them off of this block for now, because I've also got flowers on there and I really want to be able to see what I'm doing when I stamp those flowers. The boots were a little less difficult to stamp because they just needed to be centered. Okay, So move those out of the way. Now I'm going to grab my Daffodil Delight. As I mentioned, though, any bright yellow will do. I just am looking for some very cheery boots here. And I chose yellow because that's the color of the DSP that I chose. Perhaps if you chose the pink DSP, you'd want pink boots, or if you've done the green one, you'd like to use that shaded spruce. If you're doing the shaded spruce, though, to keep it bright, I would suggest stamping off before you stamp your boots. Otherwise, that shaded spruce is a very dark, dark green. All right, so that was our Daffodil Delight to stamp our boots. Now, I realized as well, I didn't mention to you that you're going to want a piece of scrap paper. So I've just grabbed, I had stamped too many, or cut too many of these at Christmas time, and I'm not really into making tags, so instead of saving them and probably never using them again, I'm just using them as scrap paper. So I'm coming in here with my flowers, and I'm not too worried about getting the basket part. I'm just inking up my flowers and then stamping them on here. So I've got enough space to get both of mine stamped on there, which is perfect. And actually, you know what? While I have this green out, I'm going to grab, before I lose it as well, there we go. I cut a piece of, is it Petal Pink? Yeah, Petal Pink. I cut a piece of Petal Pink at 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches. And I'm going to snag the sentiment. You are capable of amazing things. And I'm going to throw that onto a block. And I'm going to ink that up in gray and stamp that right in the middle of that piece. There we go. All right, so with that done, I can put those to the side. And I can put away my gray for good now. We are done with that for stamping. Now I've got my Calypso Coral ink and the stamp that's going to allow me to color in all these beautiful flowers. Now the Calypso Coral is very, very dark, so I'm going to stamp it off once before I come in and try and figure out which way to line this up. There we go. And if you don't get this one exactly perfect, it's actually a very forgiving image, so don't worry too much about it. All right, ink that again and stamp it off. And line it up. All right, there we go. So it creates that really nice light orange that is very similar. It's like a darker version of the Petal Pink. I really love the Petal Pink and Calypso Coral together. All right, so with that done, we are going to grab a blend. I've got my light old olive here that I'm coming in and using. You could use a marker, though. You could use watercolor pencil crayons. You could really use anything to color in these leaves. It's just adding in that little bit of greenery. Pear Pizzazz would work really well for this as well, or even soft seafoam. So just use what you have on hand. And I'm not being very careful, like I'm not really working hard to stay inside the lines or anything. I'm just kind of looking to see where there's leafish things and coloring in some green. Not overly concerned about staying in lines and stuff. All right, there we have it. So that's all colored in. Now we get to do a little bit of fussy cutting. Not so fussy though. I'm kind of doing this quickly, and again you'll see that I've said this before, but you'll see that it's actually my paper more than my scissors that I'm moving. My scissors I'm kind of keeping straight forward. Now I'm just going to trim that off a bit because I want to come in and then turn my paper. And I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to cut in and then twist my paper as I cut out. All right, so this is going to take just a little bit of a moment. While I'm working on this, I'll just let you guys know about a few things that are going on. The April paper pumpkin is available, and we don't have a ton of detail, but it sure looks adorable. It looks like there's going to be some kind of a tree in it, like family tree idea, and lots of sentiments to create cards for your family. There's for sure, I've heard there's a Happy Mother's Day and a Happy Father's Day stamp in there. And then just some other general, like thinking of you and connecting with family kind of things. So at this time when we're kind of all stuck away from our families and maybe can't go visit people, you know, FaceTime is great, but getting a little card in the mail would be fabulous as well. So you can subscribe for like multiple month subscription to Paper Pumpkin and actually earn some celebration rewards. Those are still on until the end of March. Or you can just pop in and grab a single month. It's $30 for the kit, and let me tell you, it is always worth it. You get your ink spot, your stamp set, all of your embellishments, paper, all of that stuff, and I've been just so impressed lately with the quality of the paper pumpkins. So if you need any help doing that, once this video is over, feel free to direct message me or, you know, give me a call, text, whatever, and I can help get you set up with that, give you more details if you need them about celebration and all that goodness. And then, yeah, the other thing I wanted to remind you is that celebration is coming to a close on March 31st. So that's approaching, what, 9 days away, I guess. So that's going to be the end of your chance to earn celebration rewards. And some of the stamp sets are just gorgeous, so you really don't want to miss out on that. Or, you know, if you're looking to do a stock up on envelopes and paper and inks and stuff like that, now's the time to do it because you'll get those rewards. Or to grab a starter kit because you get $165 worth of product plus a paper stack plus the stamp set of your choice plus that cute little paper trimmer I just used, all for just $135 Canadian, no shipping, no taxes. So it's really, truly the best deal. And so if you wanted to do that, give me a shout and I'll hook you up with that. I can help you do the paperwork if you need, or just give you the link to be able to go and do that. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening for the rest of this month. And so yeah. Okay, so I've taken my boots and glued them onto a piece of soft seafoam cardstock that was 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And yes, Tuesday we find out the third release, and it's going to be stuff that's in our annual catalog. I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to be. Oh, I know, Val, aren't these boots adorable? So I'm going to put just a one-dimensional on the back of each of these flower sets. And then pop one down on top of this boot. And then the other one down on top of the other one and let them overlap. Okay, there we go. So those are overlapping and hanging off the side, and that's all good. So now before I do anything else with this, I ran out of that gorgeous twine. So I made all the cards in the set, just so you guys all know, I made all the cards in the set exactly how they said to make them, and then I had leftover twine, and then I went and used it on other cards. So because I don't have that beautiful green and white twine to use, I'm going to use just regular old twine. This is like, I don't know, I have so much of this stuff. This one's a really old one. So this is actually the linen thread that I'm using. And yeah, it's just something neutral to put up in the top. If you still have some of that green and white twine, that's what I actually would have preferred to use. And so I've just tucked that under and I'm tying a knot. And then I'm going to tie a bow, and I'm actually wanting this to kind of sit like on a little bit of an angle, so I'm not going to adjust my knot and try and straighten it out like I normally would. I'm going to let it stay on this angle. Okay, there we go. So with that tied, I'm going to trim up the ends here. And separate those a little bit. There we go. Super cute. I'm going to pop some dimensionals onto the back of this now. Those are going to help hold that linen thread in place. And yeah, you could use like white twine as well, baker's twine for this, or if you still have some of that nice silver twine, that would work as well. Anything just to put a little bow up in that top corner. All right, now I'm going to pop that down in the center. And then I have my piece here that I stamped with my image. If you've watched my videos, you know exactly which punch I'm grabbing right now. It's my tailored tag punch. And I am going to create a little banner. There are so many nice like dies and stuff to create little pieces like this and have, you know, nice little ornate ends and all that. I just love the simplicity of grabbing that tailored tag punch and creating a little banner. All right, now with this one, I'm going to put a dimensional, a mini one, on the one end, and then I'm going to use just a little spot of glue, or probably actually I'll grab a mini glue dot for the other end to stick it down. That way it's going to lay flat on my card, but still be raised up on the one end like the image underneath is. All right, so I'll peel off those backings. There we go. And pop that down. Oh, I think I put that over a bit too far. There we go. I want to make sure that my dimensional is on the card below, not on my boot image. And then there we go. All right, and then I'll pull those ribbons out so they're over top. And there we have our finished card. So that one was a super quick and easy alternative. I'm going to try it out in different colors using the different DSP from inside those envelopes. And just one more kind of fun alternative for this paper pumpkin. So today's probably the last day you're going to see me doing videos using this paper pumpkin, although I'm definitely going to continue to create, and I might post pictures of what I've created. But starting tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to be moving on to a whole series of stuff using the Best Dressed stamp set and the DSP that goes with that. So I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy the sunshine, and I will see you tomorrow with some more ideas. Happy stampin'. Bye. Thanks, Val. Thanks, Janice.